Hi, everyone. Zipporah Wayne here, my Happy Heart coach, coming on a little bit later Thursday night than usual. However, amazing Parsha. The question is to my Happy Heart families. Here's the question. What is it we often forget? I'll speak for myself. What is it I forget? What is it you forget often, sometimes too? That you are a child of Hashem. Just in case you forgot, you are a child of God. And we're in Parsha's Beshalach, and Hashem split the sea, went against complete nature. Nachshon ben Aminadav had to go right up to here. I believe in you, Hashem, that you can split the water for me. I know, even though I can't see it, I can't feel it, I cannot fathom how it's going to happen. I know you, Hashem, can create a miracle. I may not be able to see it. I can't understand how it's going to happen. This can happen in parenting too. Just when you think you're at your wit's end, then they grow up and they shift. I call it a crossroad. There's one thing I have found at every stage of parenting era. When she was little, she'd throw her food. That drove me up a wall. I know it's normal. This made me crazy. When she was a little bit older, she stood in the bathtub. This one little thing that would just make me crazy. Don't know why. Not rational. Of course, I care about her being safe, of course. And then the next phase comes, and that disappears. She used to do raspberries, very, very wet raspberries, in my face, often when she was little. And then that stopped. And much like the Parsha of the Jewish people being in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, enslaved, we talked about last week about how to break out of our slave mentality, knowing that a miracle is possible, holding on to, what's the word? Say it with me now. Hope. Taking action in ways that we can. I'm not talking about, God forbid, in matters of abuse or intense addiction. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking struggling in parenting. So it's very applicable for this. So I want to go a little bit more into Parsha's Beshalach. As you know, I love Grow Through Torah by Rabbi Zelig Pliskin. And let me make sure that my volume is up. Okay, good. And so in Parsha's Beshalach, be aware of your strengths in order to overcome negative impulses. Why is it that we had Mitzrayim following and chasing us? And also when we were in Israel, in Egypt, Mitzrayim, why didn't we fight back? We outnumbered them. Why didn't we fight back? Why didn't we fight against them? Why wasn't there an upheaval or a rebellion? We've been enslaved for so long and stuck in our habits for so long that those neural pathways just get stuck. We're in the groove. This is just what we do. This is who I am. However, it is so key and so important that we remember who we are. You are a child of God. So is your child. And so is your child. When we're having a hard time seeing the best in ourselves, seeing the strengths in ourselves, ask other people. Do an interview. Get curious. If you really don't know. If you know, but self-care is so important, especially with parenting, right? And if you're having a hard time seeing the good in yourself, are you able to see the good in your children? It always comes back to where our mindset is and what our belief is about ourselves and how and what we can see in our children. Can we see the good in ourselves? Can we see the good in our children? If we're having a hard time seeing the good in ourselves, whether we're hard on ourselves, whether we're berating ourselves for making mistakes, which we all do, can we see the good in our children and acceptance and forgiveness for the mistakes that they make too? So Rav Chaim Shmulevitz commented that we didn't fight back. We didn't fight against the Mitzrayim when we had an opportunity to. We outnumbered them. So this principle applies to everybody in the battle against the Yetzer Hara, about the negative voices, the lower self that brings us down. And if you don't believe in yourself and your abilities and what is possible, then we'll feel discouraged. So the key is viewing yourself, again, whether it's interviewing people saying, I'd love to hear, what is it you observe that is that I'm good at, or some of my strengths? I'd love to hear. A friend of mine called me this past week asking me a question. And I loved it. I loved that she was vulnerable enough to really want to know the answer. And it really was a connecting moment for us. So what do you consider to be my strengths? Ask a friend. Ask a spouse. I'd love to know, because you're really curious. You'll get some honest answers. So our task is to view ourselves in an elevated manner. You are a child of Hashem. You are a child of God. Hashem took us out of Egypt to be the children of Israel. And internalize the knowledge that you have great potential. Potential can be sometimes a loaded word. However, it is true. We don't even know what we can accomplish. If you were to ask me a year and a half ago if I would have completed the Raising and Match Masterclass series, and 2 of them, and had spoken to top leaders and Jewish parenting coaches around the world, I wouldn't have necessarily believed it. However, we get in our own way. It's shocking how much we get in our own way. So let's break down those barriers and see who we really, really are. We are not our mistakes. We are not what we might call our failures. We are not the repeated mistakes that we make. Every day is a new opportunity for growth and to learn and to share your happy heart and to look inside of yourself, dig deep into the moment, into the present. What am I doing right now? Right now, I'm showing up for you. Right now, I'm strengthening myself, the messages I'm giving over to you. In this moment, that's what I'm doing. Can you look in yourself and say, this is what I'm doing. I see people listening. You're showing up to listen and learn and grow. It's not a small thing. And if you're doing dishes, I'm doing dishes right now, taking care of my family. Can you do the same thing for your children? In the moment, what's going right? How can we shine our light on what is going right? Hashem believed in us when we were at the depths. Hashem was always there for us. And if you're in my Facebook group, I shared a video from Rav Moshe Weinberger, a story that he told about his father and how it was just so powerful. If you didn't see it, shoot me a message that I'll do my best to try to download it and share it. It was very, very powerful. And as an adult, it brought him to tears. Still, but the love that his father had for him and the action that he took to do that. So be aware of your strengths. If you're not aware of your strengths, search for them. Dig deep. And especially when we're busy, we need that for self-care. And when you are resolved to be victorious, to succeed over your impulses, we can. And it might not be every time, every day. But if you have one time where you're like, oh, yay, I didn't react or respond in a way that I would have before, that's a huge victory. We give ourselves such credit. Or, wow, I really said the good. I saw the good and I communicated that. I maybe didn't see that yesterday. So I just wanted to leave you with, this is the Parsha of Hashem split the sea for the Jewish people. We had enough faith and belief in Hashem for creating miracles. And it is possible for you, for your family, and someone. I can support you with your parenting so you're not feeling suffocated by your parenting. If you would like a connection call, click below to connect and we can talk. I want to be of service for you and offer value to you, make a difference for you in your parenting. It is possible, even though we are perfectly imperfect parents. And we are powerfully parenting with Jewish values. So I wish you a beautiful Shabbos. And here's to growing and sharing your happy heart. All the best.